You were sitting quietly on the old wooden bench at the roadside. The clouds were rumbling with thunder, but still no rain had fallen. You sat pouted, looking at the lunchbox which was placed beside you. The food inside it was slowly getting cold. Your boyfriend Jungkook had promised that he would be back soon, but it had been more than an hour now. Your heart ached with each passing second. You muttered softly, "Where are you, Jungkook?" Your voice trembling as you looked around, hoping to see him appear from somewhere. Just then, the sound of a motorbike broke the silence. Your eyes lit up immediately. You stood up quickly and ran forward when you saw him parking his bike. You giggled like a small child. "Where were you, babe? I was waiting for you," you said excitedly. But neither he replied. Your arm loosened and you stepped away, telling yourself that maybe he is just tired, maybe the audition drained him. With a soft smile, you took his hand and pulled him towards the bench. "Come sit, tell me how it went," you asked eagerly, looking into his tired eyes. Jungkook sat slowly and you quickly sat beside him. He said before speaking, "It was fine." "Oh." Then, after a pause, he added, "Oh, actually, they like my singing and I have been approved. Maybe now my dream can come true. Maybe I will now become a K-pop idol." Your eyes lit up with happiness. You chuckled nervously, clapping your hands slightly. "Yay, I knew it! I knew it! Congratulations! I'm so proud of you!" you said excitedly while nudging his shoulder. But Jungkook's face didn't brighten up. Instead, another deep sigh left his lips. "Wyan, I'm sorry. I don't think I can manage both things." You frowned and then chuckled confusedly. "What do you mean?" He exhaled and looked into your eyes. His hands were nervously trembling in his lap. "If I choose my career, then I will have to leave you. I can't handle both. And if I choose you, I will have to leave my career." He replied. His eyes were glassy. "Then what did you choose?" you whispered, dreading the answer. Your voice was slightly trembling. He looked down. "I choose my career. I am sorry, Ryan." Your mouth dropped open, but no words came out at first. You felt like the ground beneath you shifted completely. You didn't want to believe his words, not at any cost. But then he spoke again. Let's just break up." You forced a weak smile. Tears started to roll down your eyes. You felt your body started to tremble. "But what about the promises you made? You said I was your everything. I was your world. You said that you will send your parents with a marriage proposal." You tremble, crying loudly. I know, it is hard to accept for you, but I can't do anything." You scoffed bitterly, wiping your tears away with shaky hands, trying to let out a breath, but it just stuck in your throat. Jungkook swallowed hard and placing his both hands on his knees, he stood up. "Take care, Mayan," he said and walked away, starting the bike. You sat there frozen, staring at the lunchbox. You looked at the sky and then slowly you collapsed onto the wet ground. The sky finally broke open, rain pouring down mercilessly, drenching you completely. You screamed, your voice breaking against the thunder. "You can't do this to me, Jungkook, you can't." You cried your heart out, but there was no one to console you. The rain that night didn't stop. You didn't even know for how long you sat there on the cold ground, soaked completely, crying until your throat went dry. Eventually, with weak steps, you dragged yourself home, which was miles away. You kept walking like a lost soul until you reached your small apartment. You threw yourself on the bed. You sobbed for hours. The clouds were thundering, but you were not afraid of it anymore as you were already lost. After a week, Jungkook was standing in front of his mirror, fixing his hair. His face was looking pale, but his eyes carried a strange determination. Another audition was waiting for him. He wanted to focus, but his heart felt heavy. Just then the door burst open and his friend Taeyong walked in, panting slightly as if he had rushed up the stairs. "Jungkook, someone sent you a box." "A box? From who?" There is no name on it, he replied. Jungkook frowned in confusion and walked outside to see the cardboard box sat on the table near the door. Something about it felt unsettling. Slowly he opened it. His breath hitched as he inside it the diamond ring he had given you was shining. With trembling hands he pulled out the dresses he had gifted you, the red one he loved the most. His eyes became watery, his hand shook as he lifted the red dress, pressing it against him. Memories crashed into his mind. Tears started to roll down his cheeks uncontrollably, his knees went weak, and he sank onto the floor, clutching the fabric as it was his last lifeline. Why, he whispered brokenly. I can't. He cried harder, tears soaking his shirt. Taeyong heard the sound of his crying and rushed over to him. Jungkook, what happened? Jungkook couldn't even speak at first. He just grabbed Taeyong. I broke up with her. I left her. He choked out between sobbings. Taeyong froze, staring at him in a disbelief. What? Are you crazy? Stop joking, Jungkook. I know how much you both love each other. Don't lie to me. You can never break up with Vayania. Jungkook cried more louder. I choose my career, he said, lowering his head, tears dripping onto the dress. Taeyong patted his back, trying to console him, but his own eyes were filled with tears. On the other side of the city, you wiped your swollen eyes and looked at yourself in the small mirror. The girl staring back didn't look like you anymore. Her face was pale. You realized that you couldn't keep crying forever. He had left you for his career, so also wanted to forget him, and that's why you decided to find a job. You folded your CV. The cities were quiet, each step felt heavy, but you forced yourself to keep walking. Your hands had clutched the file tightly, and your heart was pounding in your chest. You were lost in your thought. Your vision was blurry with unshed tears when suddenly honk honk a loud car horn snapped you back to the reality. The bright headlights flashed in your face. You froze looking at the car which was almost going to hit you, but then a strong arm pulled you back at the very last second. You stumbled, gasping. What? Are you crazy? Adiba scolded you. You looked up while your eyes swollen to see Jungkook's younger brother Jongwon. He stared at you shocked, still holding your arms. Wyan, what are you doing on the road like this? Your lips trembled. You quickly wiped your tears with the back of your hand. I was not paying attention. Not paying attention? What if Jungkook saw you like this? He said. There was a concern in his voice. At his mention, your eyes filled with water. You let out a sigh and said, he is not with me anymore. What? What do you mean? You swallowed hard. The words tasted like poison, but you forced them out. He broke up with me. He chose his career over me. For a moment, Jongwon just stared at you, his expression unreadable. Then slowly his jaw clenched. Seeing you trembling, his eyes softened. He quickly opened his car door and said, please come, sit inside. You hesitated. Why, please, don't argue. You looked at him and then slid into the passenger seat, clutching your CV. The warmth of the car made you realize just how cold and fragile you had felt outside. As he started driving, he asked gently, by the way, where were you going? He asked, trying to change the topic to ease the worry on your face. I was looking for a job. I can't just stay home and cry. I have to build my future. I have to prove myself that I'm not weak. Jongwon glanced at you, sadness in his eyes. For a moment he stayed quiet, then he spoke. Hmm, if you really want a job, you can work in my company. At least there I will know you are safe. Please don't roam around the streets. You blinked surprised. Work with you? Yes, I can't watch you suffer like this. You don't deserve it, Ryan. Please agree. You thought for a moment right now you had no other option than to accept his offer, so you nodded slowly. I will. The stage lights were blinding. The stadium was filled with thousands of screaming fans waving their light sticks, chanting the members' names. BTS was about to perform. Backstage, Jungkook was sitting on the couch, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. His chest felt tight. His eyes were blank as he was staring at the floor. Jimin frowned, looking at him, and crouched down in front of him. Hey, Jungkook, yeah, you can't look fine. What is wrong? Jungkook swallowed hard. I miss her so much. It's been a year, Jimin, but every single day she is still here in my heart. I can't forget Ryan. Jimin sighed and patted his back gently. I know, Jungkook, but right now you need to focus on the performance, okay? Don't think too much. The stage is waiting, everyone is waiting. Jungkook sighed. Soon the staff called them out. The members walked together. Bright smiles were on their faces as the music started. The crowd erupted in cheers. Jungkook sang and danced with all his children, but deep down, his heart was heavy. After a while, as the performance ended, it was time for speeches. As usual, the members pushed each other playfully, teasing about how. Finally, Namjoon shoved the mic into Jungkook's hands with a grin. Magne, it's your turn. Jungkook nodded and held the mic, but instead of smiling, his eyes filled with tears. His lips were trembling, and suddenly he broke down. I want to say something, he choked out. There is someone I miss so much. She was my everything. Fans started tearing up, shouting words of encouragement. With shaky hands, Jungkook wiped his tears, but they kept falling. Wherever you are, princess, please know Jungkook misses you every single day. His voice cracked on the last words. The other members leaned forward and rubbed his shoulders, comforting him on the stage. On the other hand, you sat on your living room couch watching the concert broadcast live on TV. You had promised yourself not to watch, but your heart couldn't resist when Jungkook's voice broke into that painful confession. Tears rolled down your cheeks. Why are you doing this to me now, Jungkook? Suddenly, the door opened and Jongwon walked inside. He loosened his tie and walked in the living room, only to see you, teary face, staring at the screen. Wyan, he muttered, walking towards you. You looked at him, shocked, and tried to hide your tears. His eyes softened, looking at your face, and then he spoke. Wyan, he was your past, but I am your future. You shivered and nodded your head, forcing a smile. I will erase every memory of him. Do you understand? You nodded. Because he was your boyfriend now. 1 year of working side by side with him had changed your life. Together, you built a powerful empire. He guided you, supported you, and pushed you until you became successful businesswoman. Now people admire your strength, your confidence, your achievements. You were not that weak lion anymore. You were stronger. After a week, the luxury hotel was glowing with chandeliers, music filling the air, and as businessmen and celebrities mingled in their finest clothes, BTS entered the grand ballroom together, dressed nicely. Their presence instantly turned the heads. But Jungkook Jungkook was not like the others. While his humans were laughing and greeting people warmly, his eyes kept wandering. He felt strange, as if his heart was pulling him towards something or someone. Then a familiar voice broke the noise. Ah, Mr. David! He greeted warmly. Beside him there was a couple. Jungkook didn't look up, but Taeyong nudged his shoulder. That moment he looked up and his world stopped. He saw you, but you were not alone. His brother Jongwon was right beside you. Oh, allow me to introduce. This is Lee Wyan and her boyfriend. They are special guests tonight. The words seemed to freeze. The members shared confused glances while Jungkook's heart arched. And as if to rub salt on his wound, Jongwon smiled at you. You smiled at him back with bright, adoring eyes, eyes that once used to look at Jungkook that way. Jungkook's heart shattered into pieces. Taeyong felt bad. He shook Jongwon's head with a polite smile. Jongwoo, why don't we let them talk for a while? Jongwon looked at you and you gave him a reassuring nod. If you feel uncomfortable, call me. You nodded with a bright smile, and with that he left with other staff members, leaving you and Jungkook standing together in the corner of the hall. You looked around nervously. You don't like me anymore. His voice trembled. You said nothing, your face was composed and your gaze was cold. The girl who once cried, who once laughed under the rain with him, who once gave everything to him, was gone now. Jungkook trembled at the coldness in your eyes. There was no emotion, no feelings. I miss you so much, Ryan. I can't forget you. Leaving you was the biggest mistake. You bit your lower lip nervously, trying to push the rising tears back, and then clearing your throat, you spoke. Jungwon is waiting for me. You turned and walked away quickly, your heels clicking against the marble floor. Jungkook fell on the floor. Ryan, please don't leave me like this. Please stop, Ryan. Shake, shake, shake. Yay, Jungkook, wake up. His eyes shoot open as he screamed. Ryan, don't leave me. Standing above him was none other than Jongwon, holding his stomach and laughing. Bro, what is wrong with you? You were shouting her name like crazy. Jungkook's face turned red with embarrassment. He frowned, glaring at his brother. Yay, what kind of nonsense are you saying early in the morning? Then it hit him. He looked around. He was in his room. The bed was warm. The morning sunlight streamed in softly. He frowned and realized that it was all just a bad dream. You had not left him. You were here with him in his house. Bro, calm down. Anyway, Uni has made breakfast. I can already smell it. Ah, her handmade breakfast is the best. I'm not leaving a single bite for you. Jungkook glared at him and grabbed his slipper. You are visiting my house daily. That's why I am having those kind of dreams. Jungwon's eyes wandered. Oh, Mo, what are you doing, Opa? He yelled, running towards the door. Stop right there, Jungkook. Bro, are you crazy? Did you see a ghost or what? Jungkook shouted back with a grin. Yeah, I saw you, and that's the scariest ghost of all. Jungwon's laugh echoed as he disappeared out the door. Cook let out a sigh in a relief, and tossing the slipper aside, he walked back to the room. Cookies, Jungwon is home. That demon is gone. No, it is only me. You frowned. But he said that he wanted to taste my handmade food. Oh, come on, princess, forget about that. Ye Jungkook. Jungkook smiled. You smiled back, placing your hand on his arm. He closed his eyes, feeling the warmth.